The Dark Art of Psychological Warfare, How Governments Control You Without You Knowing. You ever get the feeling you're being watched? Not by a person. No, by an entire system. A grand, invisible hand pulling strings behind the curtain? Well, you're not paranoid, if they really are out to get you. Today, we're diving into 3 of the most sinister psychological warfare operations ever conducted by intelligence agencies. And let me tell you, these aren't conspiracy theories. These are declassified, verified, and historically documented. Let's start with the media. Because if you can control what people see, you can control what they think. And if you control what they think, well, you've already won. First up, Operation Mockingbird, the media puppeteers. Cut to black and white footage of reporters, Cold War propaganda, government hearings. Imagine a world where journalists, TV anchors, and entire news networks are not reporting the truth, but are instead agents of the state, feeding you pre-approved narratives. Guess what? You don't need to imagine it. Meet Operation Mockingbird, one of the CIA's finest creations from the Cold War era. This was a top-secret program where the agency planted operatives inside major news organizations. Journalists weren't just covering world events, they were manufacturing them. Cut to footage of Cold War news anchors. From the 1950s onward, the CIA infiltrated every major media outlet. New York Times, Washington Post, CBS, ABC, you name it. The goal? To manipulate public opinion, push pro-government narratives, and bury inconvenient truths. Fast forward to today. Do you think this stopped? Nope. It just got more sophisticated. Instead of planting spies inside media companies, they own them outright. Think about it. Why do all mainstream networks push the same stories in the same tone with the same exact words? Why do dissenting voices disappear overnight? Why do narratives flip instantly, yet everyone follows without question? Because the media isn't reporting reality, it's constructing it. And you, my friend, are meant to be an obedient spectator. But don't worry, it gets worse. Next up, Controlled Opposition, the art of fake rebellion. Cut to footage of revolutions, protest leaders, political movements. What if I told you that even your heroes are handpicked by the enemy? That's the game of controlled opposition. Here's the trick. If you're in power and you see a revolution coming, you don't try to crush it outright. That's too obvious, too crude. Instead, you create a fake leader, a manufactured rebel, and let people rally behind them. That way, the opposition is still under your control. Need an example? Let's go back in history. Ever wonder how some political revolutions get massive funding, global media support, and international backing overnight? The powers that be love it when people rage against the system, as long as they're raging in a direction that's convenient. Show footage of famous political figures switching sides, contradicting themselves. Sometimes, the hero of the resistance is just another puppet, placed strategically to make sure the revolution stays within safe, manageable limits. They'll tell you what you want to hear, but they'll never let the system actually collapse. They'll let you feel like you're fighting the good fight, but in the end, nothing really changes. Because guess what? Real threats don't get airtime, they get erased. Ever wonder why some rebels are allowed to thrive, while others mysteriously vanish? That's the beauty of controlled opposition. And you? You're just a pawn in their little chess game. But you're going to love this next one. Because it's not about controlling your TV screen, it's about controlling your mind. Next up, MK Ultra, the mind control experiment you were never supposed to know about. Cut to disturbing footage, doctors, electroshock therapy, mind control experiments. All right, now we're in the deep end. The part where you ask yourself, how much of my mind is actually mine? MK Ultra was the CIA's most infamous mind control project. A series of top-secret experiments designed to break the human psyche and rebuild it from scratch. How did they do it? Drugs, hypnosis, electroshock therapy, extreme psychological torture? Yeah, this actually happened. It's all declassified now, but back in the 1950s, 1970s, the CIA experimented on civilians, prisoners, and even their own agents, without their consent. The goal? To create perfect spies, assassins, and Manchurian candidates. People who could be programmed to do anything, even kill on command, without remembering it later. Cut to grainy footage of drug test subjects, their vacant eyes staring into the void. LSD was a favorite tool. They'd dose subjects with massive amounts, strip them of reality, and then reprogram them with new identities, new beliefs, and new orders. Some people never came back. Others had their personalities erased like a hard drive. And the worst part? We still don't know how much of MKUltra actually ended, or just went underground. If intelligence agencies were playing with mind control 60 years ago, what do you think they're capable of now? So what I am saying is, you are the experiment. You want to know the real kicker? You're still in the experiment. The way news is structured, the way social media plays with your emotions, the way public discourse is manufactured, these are all upgraded versions of the same psychological warfare tactics. You're not meant to think for yourself. You're meant to be entertained, distracted, outraged, but never truly awake. The real question is, now that you know, what are you going to do about it? Or maybe you'll just scroll to the next video, like a good little experiment.